We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. More than half of Filipino respondents of a recent Publicis Asia survey approve of President Ferdinand R. Marcos' decision to take over the post of Chief of the Department of Agriculture. In the Publicis Asia's Pahayag 2022 quarterly survey held last September, 63% of the respondents agree with the president's move to take agriculture portfolio. 22% were undecided, while the remaining 15% of the Filipinos disagreed. Earlier, Marcos stood firm in his decision to stay as agriculture chief. This as critics of the president have also called for the appointment of a full-time agriculture secretary. Marcos said problems within the DA will take a president to change and turn it around. He said he will appoint someone to take his place once DA's functions are properly institutionalized and structural changes are made. In taking over the DA chief's post, Marcos promised to increase food production and lower the price of food products. He also wants to fix the value chain to address problems in the agriculture sector.
There are things that the president can do that the secretary cannot, especially because precisely the reason that you gave. The problems are so difficult that it will take a president to change and turn it around. Very deeply embedded ang mga problema na natin sa agrikultura. Ito ay nangyari sa napakaraming taon, kaya hindi ganun kabilis, hindi ganun kadali na ibalik sa ating magandang sistema dati. Kaya I think I am still needed there.
The Health Department will only have its own secretary once the COVID-19 pandemic is normalized, according to President Ferdinand R. Marcos. In an interview at the 48th Philippine Business Conference and Exposition, Marcos said the government is in the process of finding ways to normalize the COVID-19 situation to encourage investors to do business in the country. Despite the detection of the Omicron XBB and XBC subvariants, he said it is time to treat the pandemic differently from during its onset in 2020.
And it does not help if we are still under a state of calamity, if we are the only country that still has a mask protocol. But these are mandated to us by the laws that were passed during the pandemic. So kailangan pa nating ayusin yun. And until that's fixed, and once again, until those changes, in the case of the DOH, it's not structural changes, but in the case of DOH, it's the method of handling the pandemic.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos ordered the suspension of Bureau of Corrections Director General Gerald Bantag to give way for a fair and impartial investigation of the killing of journalist Percy Lapid. Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla confirmed the suspension of Bantag and the appointment of the former AFP Chief Gregorio Catapang Jr. as officer in charge. In an interview, Remulla said Bantag took the suspension objectively, considering the need for a fair probe. His suspension remains indefinite as long as the investigation is ongoing.
What was the reaction of the president? He asked me to preventively suspend Undersecretary Director General Gerald Bantag of BuCor, so that there may be a fair, impartial investigation on the matter, so that all doubts will be put to rest that there are no sacred cows in this administration.
Remulla expressed concern over the death of the alleged middleman in the Lapid killing, saying he would have been able to secure his safety. He meanwhile noted that he is one of the two identified middlemen in the said case. As of now, the other one remains in their custody while they are still looking into the details of the mastermind behind the killing.
We want to find out sino-sino ba ang pwedeng magalit o mag-react sa mga sinabi sa pamamahayag. You know, that's the problem nga, kaya nga media security is so important. No? Kaya we were so happy that nakuha natin ang suspect, and the gunman is in custody. And nakakaano lang talaga, nakakagulat lang talaga. We have to look at all possible motives and all possible masterminds dito sa bagay na to.
Interior Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. ordered the Philippine National Police to tighten security measures and ensure the safety of the alleged gunman of veteran journalist Percy Lapid. In a short press conference, Abalos said the DALG and the PNP are surprised and upset with the sudden death of one of the alleged middlemen in Lapid's killing inside the National Bilibid prison. Abalos said the death of the middleman may be a roadblock to the development and possible quick resolution of the high-profile case. He assured that the DALG and PNP will not let go of this case, especially after this unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, Police Colonel Kirby John Brian Kraft said another middleman is kept secure in the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. That's the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We're also shown on the social media pages of the Office of the Press Secretary and the Radyo Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I'm Stephanie Sevillano. We tell stories that inspire change.